Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today another special day because it's historic Brawl Day, one that doesn't come around very often, but we're going to make the most of it. We're going to be playing around with a commander we haven't played before, and one that's kind of interesting. It's a big Lord effect for Angel Tribal. I tried looking into something like Black-White, with 4 mana Sorin. That might actually just be a better one, but I really just wanted to play with Lyra today, to be honest. I wanted to make sure all my angels got lifelink and +1/+1. That just seemed really cool to me. So we're going to play a monocolored commander. Typically, monocolored commanders are very not good, to say the least. I think that's an understatement. I can't think of too many monocolored commanders that are actually good. Maybe you could make an argument for Heliod. I don't know. But we're going to go with Lyra anyway. 5 mana, 5/5, flying, first strike, lifelink. It's Baneslayer Angel with the added ability of turning your other creatures into almost a Baneslayer Angel, which is kind of cool. So, Angel Tribal. Typically, what this means is it's big lady tribal, because a lot of our angels are very expensive. This leads me to believe this deck is going to be very mediocre. In fact, I don't even believe it. I know it's going to be. But we have lots of angels anyway, so we're going to talk over them and the reason why we're running them. If I can just pull them apart. We have quite the fair few with lots and lots of text on them, so, you know, we'll go through the angels, a little bit of the side pieces to it, if they have anything relevant. I think that's all of them. Yes, it is. Alright, so let's start from the bottom. Emancipation Angel is a 3 mana 3/3 with flying from Jumpstart. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. This has a lot of applications. For one, the normal, simplest way you can play this is if you skip your land drop. This is actually a 2 mana 3/3 with flying. We do need quite a fair few of early game angels as well to make sure that Lyra actually has something to do, as well as staying alive is kind of important. So Emancipation Angel's got lots of options. If we're not going to be dropping down the land as well, we can do a few other things. The changes to the way commanders work with Banishing Light kind of effects make Emancipation a lot more powerful. Things like Banishing Light, if you target your opponent's commander with this, they get to choose whether or not to leave it under the Banishing Light or put it into the command zone. It used to be the case of last known location that the card would return from underneath the Banishing Light after you bounced it, if you decided to put it back into your command zone. That's entirely changed now. So if I use a Banishing Light on my opponent's commander, it goes back to the command zone, and if I bounce Banishing Light, their commander doesn't come out of the command zone without them doing anything. So that means that I can bounce Banishing Light based effects with Emancipation Angel to reuse them, because they will not have anything under them to give back to our opponent. We have another one like that as well with Cast Out and Ixalan's Binding, so 3 versions of that particular card. We can also make some bounces as well to give Pseudo Vigilance to a creature for a cost as well, so we can bounce an attacking creature and return it, play it, and then we've got, you know, our Lyra held back to block or something like that. Lyra is just a really good blocker, by the way. That's all you really need to know. We also have things like Elspeth Conquers Death, which is a chapter-based saga that we really want to just leverage chapters 1 and 2. 3 can come into play, though, of course, returning a creature from our graveyard to the battlefield with a counter on it. Definitely relevant, but we'd much rather use chapter 1 as many times as possible, so Emancipation Angel can bounce that before it hits chapter 3, so that we can reuse the Elspeth Conquers Death, which again is another powerful effect. Resplendent Angel, 3 mana 3/3 with flying. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, you put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance onto the field. So Lyra really likes those kind of cards. Once you've activated this once and you have that 4/4, if you have a Lyra in play, that 4/4 is a 5/5 with lifelink and vigilance to enable the Resplendent Angel all over again. And if your opponent attacks into it, you'll have gained that 5 life to make another 4/4. This card is really good. It's probably one of my favorite angels of all time. 6 mana though. You can also give it +2/+2 and lifelink to enable itself. So if you've got nothing better to do, you can swing in with that, and it will leave you with a 4/4 vigilant blocker, which is insane. It's so good. It is so good. We can also enable that 5 lifelink outside of combat with things like Bishop of Wings as well, which gains you 4 life when an angel enters. So if we have 2 angels enter, or we gain 1 life outside of this effect and we trigger it as well, then we'll make that 5/5 angel, which also we have a death trigger attached to this, making spirit tokens, so we have a little bit of survivability replacing themselves. Crested Sunmare additionally also cares about your life total. So if you gained life, any amount of life, you make a 5/5 white horse creature token, which has indestructible. It's just pretty decent, to be honest. If a 5/5 can make another 5/5, that's 10 points of damage on the board for 5 mana, in a deck that's already kind of enabling this passively, so pretty solid. Linvala, Keeper of Silence, is a 4 mana 3/4, just a solid hate bear kind of card. Has flying, and activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. So if our opponent has like a tap effect on a commander, for example, this is going to hit it. Not really too interested in hitting anything particular in the meta, just kind of hoping to have a gotcha kind of situation with Linvala, where our opponent will forget this exists, or maybe it shuts down our opponent's commander altogether. But yeah, there's not really anything that comes to my mind that is necessarily all that powerful. I guess this will shut down Persistent Petitioners, which people are playing a lot in the Historic Brawl queue at the moment to try and grind out dailies. This stops the creatures from activating the mill effect, so Bruvac is essentially an auto-lose if you can play down a Linvala. So I guess that's one activated kind of situation. We know that's good. Angel of Destiny is an alternative win con. One of the reasons why I wanted to play with this deck. 5 mana 2/6 with flying and double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. So it gives lifelink in a pseudo sense to all of our creatures. And if we have 15 or more life total, then our starting life total, and Angel of Destiny has attacked them, they lose the game. So it's an alternative win condition as well. If we have so much life, Angel of Destiny only has to get in 1 point of combat, and we win. It's awesome. Angel of Grace is a flashing flyer, which reduces our life total to 1 if it would go less than 1, so it's a way of saving ourselves, but also it's a flashing gotcha card as well, so our opponent can run right into this, and we can try and take down a creature. We can also use it from the graveyard as well to make our life total become 10. So if our life total is less than 10, anything that we have before that is considered gaining life. So we could technically trigger things like Resplendent Angel if we gained 5 life from our life total changing like that. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's also, again, from the Crested Sunmare, considered gaining life as well. So Angel of Grace does have its effects. We're probably going to be losing most of the time if we're activating that gain 10 anyway. I can imagine that we're almost certainly too far behind to come back, but, you know, it's a thing, all right. Angel of Sanctions is another Ixalan Binding kind of cast out effect, again, one that we can actually bounce with the Emancipation Angel. We can also embalm it as well for 6 mana to make a token copy of this, which will come in and do the exiling based effect all over again, so pretty solid stuff. Bane Slayer Angel is Lyra without the Lord effect. Light of the Legion is a 6 mana 5/5 with Mentor. Mentor being the ability to put counters on creatures with less power than it. It's not going to crop up too much, but we do have some 3/3s and 3-powered creatures in general. Even Angel of Destiny is a 2/6, so we can Mentor onto that, and if it dies, then we can put a counter on each white creature we control, so short of a board wipe, if this one just gets targeted, it will give us a little bit of value. Don't expect that to happen. It's more just in here for the 6 mana 5/5 with the potential to add points of damage to the board. Serra Guardian, 6 mana 5/5, gives vigilance to creatures. I think it speaks for itself. Angel of Dire Hour is an interesting one. I don't imagine we're going to get this off very often, but it's a 7 mana 5/4. Again, it's a flash creature with flying. However, when this enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, which I don't believe we can do it in any other way, we can reanimate it, but we can't cast it from outside our hand anyway. Exile all attacking creatures. This is a Settle the Wreckage that does not give your opponent any basic lands. Settle the Wreckage is in our deck, by the way. We're running that. So, yeah, if we can really get our opponent with this, it's going to absolutely destroy them. If our opponent's playing like Nissa, who ruins the game, and they're swinging in, we can steal all their lands, and they don't replace them like they would with the Settle the Wreckage. So there's some added risk there. If we're holding up in 7 mana, though, it's going to be pretty suspicious. Saphara Sky's Blade is a little bit of board wipe protection. A 7-mana 7/7 with flying and lifelink. It gives other creatures you control with flying indestructible, which is 90% of our deck. So if our opponent does have the Shatter the Sky or something like that, we draw a card off of it, and only Saphara would die because its other creatures with flying have indestructible. So Saphara on her own does not have indestructible, but she will protect the rest of our board, and that's going to be pretty good on its own. If our opponent's wiping the board, it's going to be pretty much in our favor, so only losing a little bit from a board wipe is solid. And that's essentially the Angel package. I don't think there's too much else to go into. We've got a lot of mana rocks with Arcane Signet, Guardian Idol, Mind Stone, and to a certain extent Treasure Map, Heraldic Banner. We want to make sure that we get to Lyra as early as possible to beat any kind of aggro strategies, and also because, you know, I think a 5-mana 5/5 is not good enough on its own. However, if it's turn 3, 5/5, then it's pretty good. You know, we get that little bit of activated ability and attacking power, so we want to be ramping if we can. Removal-wise, it's mostly enchantment-based. We've got Sealaways. We've talked about a lot of the Banishing Light effects as well. We've got Angelic Ascension, which can turn a creature or planeswalker into a 4/4 angel. We can use that on our own creatures. If our opponent would kill a creature, we can just make it into a 4/4 angel, so we get to somewhat keep a underpowered version of that card. Scroll of Avacyn's a little bit of life gain and card draw. 5 life if you control an angel, which should happen, hopefully. Speaker of the Heavens, if you've got 7 or more life, we can make angels off of that. Serra Ascendant, if we gain 5 life when this comes into play, so your starting life total in Brawl is 25, so if we gain 5 life, this becomes a 6/6 life-linking flying creature, which is absurd. And yeah, that's really about it, I would say. There's even a Miria's Call, which actually has kind of a a synergy with the deck, I guess. Makes 2 4/4s. It's also a land. And yeah, I think that's really all I'm going to go into with this deck. I think it should speak for itself. We do have a Griffinary, I guess, which is something to speak of, which is like an underpowered Crested Sunmare. If we gain 3 life, we make a 2/2. It's only ever going to be a 2/2, so, you know. Anyway, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's carry on, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in and on the draw with a reasonable hand. It's got Baffling End for turn 2. Emancipation Angel can bounce Baffling End if we really need to reapply it, although that would give them a 3/3 dino for doing that, but, you know, there's a possibility that it's worth it anyway. Our opponent is playing Captain Sisay. 4 mana 2/2. You search your library for a legendary card, reveal that card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Basically, Captain Sisay is a card advantage monstrosity that we cannot allow to stick around, otherwise it's just legendary tribal from our opponent. It's a very good commander, or at least a reasonably playable commander. Whether or not it's good is to be determined, I suppose, by this game. If it's a good commander, it might just beat ours. You have no idea. Alright, so our opponent here can play down a creature. Can't be the target of abilities your opponents control. Okay. That's fine, I suppose. And then a Mox Amber. I believe that means that Baffling End can't target Shana, but that should be okay. Because this is a triggered ability that we control. So instead, I'm just going to go for the Guardian Idol. Pass the turn. This gets us up to 4 mana for the cast out to kill the Captain Sisay, which is really important. Our opponent will then put it in the command zone, and Emancipation Angel can bounce the cast out once our opponent removes it from underneath the cast out. At least that's the hope, that they will do that. We're going to do it now before they can obviously activate it. That would be unfortunate. And yeah, as a confirmation that Baffling End would do nothing, Shana was grayed out when cast out appeared there, so we know that it won't do anything. We don't need to figure that out the hard way. So they've got 5 mana here. That means they can't do the Captain Sisay, but they can certainly ramp into it and go for a Shalai, which is unfortunate. It kind of requires us to... Well, instead of Emancipation Angel bouncing Cast Out, I guess what we can do is we can bounce the planes, replay the planes, we can hold up and seal away for Shalai. And then get Sisay, hopefully with the ECD following that. So let's get a 3-3, bounce our planes, because we haven't made our land drop, we can replay it. This is a 2-mana 3-3, it's pretty sweet. And yeah, we're just going to seal away the Shalai so we can target Captain Sisay. I'm sure they'll swing through an Emancipation Angel. If they don't, we can consider going for the Angelic Ascension instead. Really just need a land though. Land would be amazing. That would actually allow us to go with the Elspeth Conquers Death, perhaps. So, opponent runs into a seal away. Do they have something like Heroic Intervention or God's Willing to give it protection? They do not. Alright. Seal away lands. And, well, we made our land drop, so now we can do Elspeth Conquers Death on Captain Sisay. Answering it once again. I guess this is the point where we actually just swing in with the Emancipation Angel. Get that value going. Opponent's only got a 1-1, we got a 3-3. It's probably going to be a 2-2 if we're being realistic. Might even see a rival ECD from our opponent, which would be unfortunate, but currently does nothing for their graveyard. Similar to ours, of course. But I guess there's a possibility that we can use the Elspeth Conquers Deaths Chapter 3. The one thing we've got to be really careful of is running into Urza's Ruinous Blast, because that will rid our entire board of non-legendary permanents. Opponent hit a Golter and an Ugin that they cannot hit off of the Druidic Vow there, which is fantastic for us. Yeah, I think we're just going to go with the lifelink Emancipation Angel swing here. Try and get our life total up nice and high so Serra Ascendant can be a big boy. And there's Captain Sisay. We're going to have to do like an Angelic Ascension on that one. And a Resplendent Angel for them with the cost reduction off of Nylea. It's very good. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to swing and gain 11 life here. And then we'll Ascension the Captain Sisay, which can currently get Urza's Ruinous Blast, which would be very bad for us. Can't allow it, of course. Okay, opponent's going to take it all. We go up to 33. So we Ascension Captain Sisay. Give them an Angel. But get rid of their most powerful tool. Then we can Baffling End the Resplendent Angel, I believe. It's hard to say, really, because they do have a 4-4 there, which is naturally kind of a big threat. And then we'll make our 6th land drop, I guess, or our 6th mana play here. The big thing is not allowing our opponent to grab Urza's Ruinous Blast. That's going to be the beginning and end of this game, if that doesn't end up happening. Opponent has a Questing Beast attack. That's basically about it, though. Well, that can open up a few more, I suppose. That is the one that gives counters, right? Oh, that's the gain life one. Never mind. So yeah, they hit us for 4. That's not a good attack. Don't know why they're making that attack. What am I missing? Empty hand. 5-6. Don't know what I'm missing there. I don't think I was missing anything. Okay, so from here... We just go plains, swinging with everything, I suppose. We trade the Angel with the Emancipation Angel. And, yeah, I mean, I believe it is just good game. So we swing in with everything. They've got a trade. They take 11. And then we play a 6/6 flying first strike lifelinker, which can block Questing Beast. Actually, ooh, yeah, we can block Questing Beast. So that's not too bad. And it shouldn't give our opponent enough time to Sisay into an Urza's Ruinous Blast, so they're going to need to top deck it or find something else of similar quality. Which should hopefully not be possible. Is it possible? There's Captain Sisay. Tapped out. Lethal in the air. They go up to 10. Got a little bit more than that. Planes in hand, and that's the game. So, yeah. Swing for lethal. Nothing has reach, even though Nylia has a bow and is like 500 feet tall. You'd think reach was a thing. But tis not, and we end the game on 61 life. Okay, not too bad. I think that game could have swung in our opponent's favor had we not found removal, but we made sure to have a hand that had removal. So, you know, Seal Aways, Baffling Ends, Angelic Exaltations, all of that good stuff to make sure that Sisay is answered thoroughly. I guess this game could have swung in an entirely different direction had Druidic Vow come down a lot later, or maybe hit something different. They definitely whiffed a couple of times with the Galter and Ugin. Could have done a little bit better, maybe. I'm sure there's some flying creatures I'm not thinking of that could have blocked and given them that time they need right here to get the Ruinous Blast, but that does leave us with a Lyra that they still have to answer. So, who knows, really, but good game, victory for us. Alright, we're in, and this should be a pretty reasonable matchup for us, if we draw the right cards. Are these the right cards? Well, there's no immediate life gain, that's kind of the sad situation, but we do have a Banishing Light to take care of Torbran. Crested Sunmare making 5/5s all the time is okay, 3/4s are okay. I think you probably take the Mull, though. I think we want a way of getting Lyra down as early as possible, because I think this is pretty much a miserable matchup for our opponent, if we can do that. Well, if you control an angel, you gain 5 life. We got a God's Willing kind of effect there as well. This is much better. This is much better indeed. I think you probably just want to play the Sheltered Tap, though. Fanatical Firebrands. And an Angel of Destiny, 2 6s that gain life. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I think what we want to do is kind of try to ramp with a treasure map, most likely, so we're going to probably play this land tapped eventually. We might as well do it while we've got nothing better to do in the early turns. It's like, if you think of what it will take for our opponent to kill an Angel of Destiny or a Lyra, it's going to be a 2-for-1 kind of situation anyway. Heartfire Immolator for our opponent, and we're just going to go plains and treasure map most likely. Digging for a 2-mana mana rock like Guardian Idol, Arcane Signet, something like that would be nice. Want to see our opponent miss a land drop up to Torbran at some point as well, that'll be really useful. But yeah, until we get to 5 mana, we don't start really throwing out all of the high-powered creatures that our opponent has to worry about. So we just kind of have to live that long. I think it's doable. Infuriate. Well, that's 7 points. That's a lot. A lot of damage. Alright. Come on, Mana Rock. Resplendent Angel. Just doesn't quite cut it, does it? No, I think we really have to at least try and dig for answers or something like that. Cast Out is most likely a cycle, I would suppose. Let's play the Scroll of Avison. Might have to just crack it. It's hard to say, being on 16, it's very iffy. And I might not even have time to treasure map, I might have to just... Yeah, because our opponent's going for the Torbran here. I might have to just do luck of the draw, because I'll be forced into playing something like Ixalan's Binding. So we take quite a lot of damage. I am going to cycle the cast out. Light of the Legion won't do it. Could just be dead here. So let's do Ixalan's Binding on Torbran. That means we can get down Lyra, and most of our opponent's burn shouldn't be able to touch Lyra Dawnbringer without being a 2-for-1. But if they have it, ugh, things get sketchy. So close to stabilizing now. I guess it's situations like this where the 3-mana Angel would have been good, because then we could play it here, crack the scroll and gain some life. Emiria's Call. Yeah, it's just going to come down to whether or not Lyra here is good enough. If she lives, we gain 5 and prevent our opponent from doing a decent bit of combat damage. Legion War Boss runs straight into Lyra. Ah, can't be blocked by cowards. Don't you dare, you make Lyra a coward. And it was a great game for all involved. Lots and back and forth. Our opponent, the honourable individual. Oh, can I? Hang on. Oh, can't block warriors? Oh, fantastic. Alright, well, I'll block the Legion War Boss. Yeah, reading cards is difficult. Then they read it. The early GG. Very much will be GG. Alright, so we go up to 10. Go to 3. Does our opponent have Wizard's Retort? They do not. Oh, Wizard's Lightning, sorry. Gain 5 more life. For a Linvala. So, because we're in such a good spot, I think we've got to swing with Lyra. Can't really trust that our opponent can 8 us off the top, I think, and then we'll just play Linvala as a 4-5 lifelinker. I think that has to be the play. Emiria's Call as a land. And then pass, that opens up something like Light of the Legion as a 6-6 lifelinker. Actually, if we do an upkeep stop, we can do Angel of Destiny pre-combat. Or post-combat. I guess it doesn't particularly matter. Soul Seer takes the lifelink off of Linvala. That's the one card without Torbran that can take care of Lyra here. 3-6. I need a land in order to replay Lyra. Gonna get rid of the Heartfire Immolator. Actually, we should probably go after the Kargan Intimid... No, that one can get pumped. Yeah, let's just do the Heartfire Immolator. I'm thinking if they prowess, that would prove to be an issue. Speaking of issues, we've certainly found ourselves in one. 2-6 Angel of Destiny, swing for 3, gain 3. So Angel of Destiny, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. So we've got a double striking 2-6, which can block quite nicely here. But is it enough? can make Angel of Destiny a coward, so that the Intimidator has 3 points coming through. Lava Coil. Yeah, I guess that does it. Really hate when our opponent makes a game-losing punt and still wins. But, you know, we're all guilty of it at some point. Close game nonetheless, and the land is exactly what we needed. Oh, dear. Exactly lethal. You hate to see it. You truly do. Yeah, we're just, I guess, a little bit too slow for mono red on a good draw like they did. The Soul Seer, I think, was really the thing that did it. 5 damage. Oof. Next game. Alrighty then, we're in. We've got a 3-lander with a Mana Rock, Scroll of Avacyn as a redraw. We're going to keep this one. We're up against Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Probably a better deck than ours. I don't ever expect Lyra to be better than most decks, to be completely honest. It seems just a little bit slow and dirtly. And they've got Sphinx of the Foresight as a reveal as well. This Undo Inversion, it's too early for me to consider it as a late game card to keep in hand, so I'm just going to go for the land drop, because we do need to make those land drops all the way up until Lyra. But then it's going to be hard removal left, right, and center from our Elder Dragon opponent here. So 4 mana 4/4 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you discard a card, and then you can pay 7 to exile Nicol Bolas and turn him into Nicol Bolas the Arisen. And Nicol Bolas has a lot of loyalty. You can tick up to make that loyalty higher, drawing 2 cards. -3, kill literally anything in my deck. The -4, reanimate anything from any graveyard. And then the -12 is a win con to exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. We are going to go with... Let's see, we could do Mind Stone into the scroll. Or we could do Guardian Idol because it's tapped. If we do Guardian Idol because it's tapped, we'll have 4 mana to work with next turn. And then we could do Mind Stone plus Resplendent Angel. I suppose that's fine. Let's get the Guardian Idol down. Treasure map for our opponent. So I'm guessing they're actually Grixis control and not dragons then, based off of the slow start that they've had here. Let's get the Mind Stone down into the Resplendent Angel. Just trying to play on curve here as best we can. We're going to be discarding sometime soon, so we can go with something like Angel of Grace discard, I guess, because it has actual value in the graveyard to a certain extent. And they just pass. Wowee. Alright, well, that usually means double blue means counterspell. So let's just go with the Scroll of Avacyn here. And we'll crack it to draw a card. This means that we've gained the 5 life for Resplendent Angel, which will make us an angel, and we've got a flashing cast out as well to deal with Nicol Bolas. They'll want to kill Resplendent Angel now with something like a Scorching Dragonfire if they have it. It's entirely possible we shouldn't swing in here because of Brazen Borrower. But we got ourselves an angel. So that's not too bad. Angel of Sanctions, another pretty good card as well. One that we can play from our graveyard. So we do have lots of options for the discard from our opponent. And a reasonable board. They can just play Sphinx of the Foresight with their mana, but if they do that, then I've got Lyra Dawnbringer to make this a 5/5 lifelinker to make Resplendent Angel. Just do that little bit more damage. So, do they have a Storm's Wrath? They're just going to go with Nicol Bolas. Okay. Nikki B. We'll start with the Angel of Grace, since I can play the Angel of Sanctions on Nicol Bolas. Then again, to be mana efficient, I probably should cast it out to then go Lyra and swing with the Resplendent Angels. Yeah, let's do that. If I've got a cast out there, if I draw into Emancipation Angel, I can bounce the cast out for reuse, which is a consideration. I'm going to keep the land in hand at this point for Nicol Bolas discard. It's almost certainly going to happen, so let's just get swinging. Yeah, make another 5/5. If our opponent doesn't have... well, a Languish wouldn't really do it. They'd have to have, at this stage, hard removal for Lyra into, like, Storm's Wrath or then Languish, so they need extra answers. Looks like they were maybe a little bit color screwed, I don't know. They definitely spent a turn holding up and counter spells, and we played around that, ruining everything that they had planned. And we have Angel of Sanctions ready to come down and deal with Nicol Bolas, and if it comes down on 6, we should have a pretty decent matchup there. Good stuff. Okay, we're in, and this hand's a bit awkward. I think it's keepable, but it's awkward. We have 2 Settle the Wreckages in our hand, an Emancipation Angel for the Banishing Light, which can come on our opponent's commander immediately, because they're on the play, so being on the draw with the Banishing Light, that means on our turn 3, we can Banishing Light their turn 3. So we're going to keep this one, and then we can bounce it with the Emancipation Angel to do it all over again. So our opponent is playing Akiri, Fearless Voyager, and a Plains is honestly really good there. Means the Emancipation Angel plan is going to work. A 3-mana 3/3. Whenever you attack with a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, you get to draw a card. You can also pay 1 white to unattach it to give that creature indestructible until the end of the turn. Utility Knife for our opponent. Attaches to the Fervent Champion to make a 2/2. This is going to give them guaranteed Akiri value if I don't answer it with a Banishing Light. Do I want to do that? I mean, I guess I could. If I Banishing Light the Fervent Champion, they play the Akiri. Akiri can't do anything. I can open up a Settle the Wreckage maybe on that turn. Yeah, I think I mostly want to just get rid of all of their equipable creatures. Stops them from just simply playing equipment and constantly slapping it on the Fervent Champion. Is this... It is a tax, right? Yes. Okay. So, I mean, we can hold up and Settle the Wreckage. It's a fine time to do it, although I would imagine it's not necessary as an option here. So I'm just going to go with the Heraldic Banner on whites. Play the Castle Ardenvale and pass. They can equip for their turn with the Akiri. I'm going to try and set up a decent Settle the Wreckage. Maybe even force our opponent into just playing a... Ooh, hello. That's pretty good. All these really good top decks are interrupting my conversational flow. Well, let's minus the Akiri. The odds of a hasty creature are quite high, as well as burn spells for Ugin, but I think we take the chance by getting rid of their commander, which they won't be able to play for a while. What's the equip on this? 3. So if they had, there's a red goblin that gets haste if it's equipped. Nahiri's a good one. As is Speaker of the Heavens. So we're going to go with Ugin Tick Up, see what we can get. Gives us a blocker, and Seal Away is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's play our land drop, and I kind of think that we go for Lyra here. We could do Lyra and Speaker. Gives us a really solid board. First striking 6/5. Means if they want to go land Akiri, they're going to have to just throw a token under the bus. Nahiri does have a minus to kill the Speaker of the Heavens, but doesn't seem like a great use of their time. Can't attack or block. Okay. That's fair. We will trade the token for the Seal Away here. It's pretty good for us. Fantastic. So they keep a Nahiri alive. I've got Angel of the Dire Hour, which is just good, settle the wreckage. Let's tick up and see what we draw first. Crested Sunmare's so good. I can always Emancipation Angel. Actually, I can just do that, yeah. Emancipation Angel, bounce Lyra, replay Lyra. To my hand. That takes the Nahiri's binding off. And then we're not going to run our speaker into a 1-1. Because, you know, we're just overwhelming our opponent as it is. So Nahiri dies. We probably trade off this Sunmare target as well, which makes 5/5 indestructible creatures, which is pretty awesome. And our opponent needs, like, Shatter the Sky. I don't know if they'd run it in a deck like that. Maybe they would. I don't know. His equipments matter after all, so you got to imagine that they want to build a board. But there's a small amount of creatures where I could see things like Wrath of God and Shatter the Sky being a playable card in their deck. Certainly things like Settle the Wreckage you could play in an Akiri list. And yeah, pretty solid stuff. I think drawing all the removal and some pretty solid threats with an Ugin almost ready to destroy another permanent as well is very good. Speaker of the Heavens, 7 or more life than your starting life total, so we're not far off of activating that and making Angels as well, which are 5/5 lifelinkers. This game, I think, is just mostly impossible for our opponent unless they're playing a control-skewed Akiri list, which doesn't sound too bad, but doesn't sound realistic either. But who knows? Anyway, let's go to the next game. Alrighty then, on the play with a Kiora Behemoth Beckoner list on the other side. I can't use words today. We're on the play, so our opponent can go turn 3 Kiora, we can go turn 4 Cast Out. That seems pretty reasonable to me. We do need the land, but we have the Sajiri Shelter to make that 4th land drop should we want it. And early game Baffling End for Mana Dorks as well is pretty reasonable. I'm going to keep this hand. It could do with top decking a little bit more removal, though. Let's see. So we can go turn 1 Speaker with the Field of Ruin for the promise of a Baffling End should we care. Otherwise, we can start dropping down tap lands to work our way toward a Cast Out. I think that's fine. I don't imagine our opponent's going to be playing many creatures to block Speaker anytime soon. I mean, there are Llanowar Elves and Gilded Geese. But yeah, I think the likelihood is that our opponent's going to do something like that. So let's just start gaining a little bit of life here. Opponent's going to crack it immediately. Probably go get a green sauce. Yep. So, gain 1 life. We're going to play down the desert. Because that is just straight up a land, other than the Sajiri Shelter, which can be a bit of protection from fight spells perhaps. Or even to push through damage. And there's Paradise Druid, the awkward one. Alright. Well, we did draw enough lands to not need to use Sajiri Shelter here as removal. Yeah, I think we just... I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Let's just play a Plains. Swing for 1. I'm happy to trade a Paradise Druid. I don't think they will, though. Good stuff. And pass the turn. So if they have to use the Paradise Druid here, it opens it up to the Baffling End. Otherwise, Cast Out's probably just going to be used on Kiora here, just to slow them down. So Kiora is a 3 mana 7 loyalty Planeswalker, but it's mostly the activated ability in the passive that you really appreciate. You know, the things that make a Planeswalker good. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater attack enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So big boys make more big boys. You can also untap a permanent as well. So if you're running mana rocks that generate multiple mana, you can use this to ramp. The untap permanent's really the thing that matters the most here, though. And there's a Drover of the Mighty, which makes more mana rocks. So this is the awkward part now, I would say. Where the Kiora is just kind of well insulated, because if we kill the Kiora, they just play a 5 or 6 drop next turn. And I'm left looking a bit strange. I think we've got to take care of the Kiora, though. I think if our opponent plays a 5-drop, I'd rather than not draw a card off of it. This also stops them from playing larger creatures than that. It's really important to take care of that, though. We'll swing in with 1. Again, I don't think that they're going to actually trade a Drover, and I'm happy if they do. As it means lower converting mana cost of creatures we have to deal with. And those lower converting mana cost creatures can potentially not get through our Lyra, which is likely to be coming down here. Nissa, who ruins the game. Okay. Is this non-land creature, or is it just creature? It's just creature. Okay. I think we just have to go with the Lyra here, though. It just really nicely blocks our opponent's lands and swings through. The sad thing is that we can't hold up in the Sajiri shelter, so I'm sure they could find a way to fight Lyra with the big X-Hydra, maybe? Something like that would be awkward. This is certainly going to be a make-or-break-it kind of turn, though, I would say. The next 2 turns, at least, since we can't kill the Nissa right now. But yeah, the Garenberg can activate quite easily to make a big boy. Big boy fighting Lyra will basically loses the game. Or they could simply just go for a Kiora as a bit of a greedy setup turn. And we'll try to punish that greed with a Sajiri shelter to protect the Lyra for the swing back, and a Baffling End to take out a land as well if they get a forest into play. We can basically play our entire turn anyway. Looks like they're going to activate Garenberg and make a large, annoying thing. There's a Vivian. That is exceptionally awkward. Can't really attack through, though, at the moment. Not without doing something extra.
Stomping time.
So opponent has a pump spell. Why take the risk? I'm going to gain that life back anyway. There's no reason you make that attack unless you are bluffing. And we can just Baffling End the island, I suppose. Probably want to go after the forest, though, more than anything, because it's ramping off of Nissa and we can't kill Nissa. Opponent passes. Yeah, so we have to go for Vivian Arcbow Ranger here, I think. Take that off the board, otherwise the minus can kill Lyra. Thrix. Protection from blue kills Vivian. Leaves them with the Thrix. I'm not going to be countering anything, so let's kill Vivian over Thrix. We can still Baffling End and Guardian Idol. I don't know. I feel like we're losing this game, though, because our opponent
I've seen too many species die already.
Has the better board state, and we don't actually have a hand anymore, so they have the card advantage as well, essentially. I think we just have to take care of the 5/5 and just accept that our opponent has infinite mana. Cycles a Sandbar. And we'll play the Guardian Idol as well. Do they have that pump spell, though, or were they bluffing? I really don't think it's worth the bluff. So I've got to imagine they have it. There's Kiora. I feel like they could have tapped better. I don't know. Depends on their hand, I suppose. I'm not sure it particularly matters, but so they can untap the forest with Kiora and swing through with it, and then they've got a lot of mana to follow up with and play a very large boy that probably replaces itself. There's really nothing I can do about that. We've got Thrix as well to... Oh my god, they've actually got the best land in the deck. Yeah, I mean, this is a nut draw. Gargos, if I target anything, my Lyra dies. Absolute nut draw from our opponent. Swing with whatever they feel like in the moment. Our only real out, I think, is Settler Wreckage. Because they have the Nissa ult now, which gives indestructible to all of their lands and pulls all their lands out to perfect their ability to murder me. So I kind of have to force myself into attacking that. Keep them away from it. And then I can flash an Angel of Grace as a 6/5, at the very least. Doesn't target, and then that ends up being removal. Million mana, though. Kiora's -1 currently untaps for an extra 3 mana off the Lotus Field. Vivian Reed. Killer flying creature. Has there ever been a more perfect draw? I don't know if there has.
That can't help you now.
Alright, Lyra. Sorry to say it, but you've been outclassed. Opponent untaps their Lotus Fields. And plays a Goreclaw to draw cards. I think Goreclaw has to attack. Yeah, in order to get the pump, but that gives trample. And +1/+1 to basically their entire board state. Ooh, we could get rid of the Lotus Field if our opponent's very silly about it. Draws off the Shifting Ceratops. Thankfully, it's got protection from a color I'm not using. Beautiful. Alright, flash in Angel of Grace. We could have settled there as well. That would have also been a really good Settler Wreckage. Alright, take care of Lotus Field here. We do go to 9. We stand to gain a little bit more life anyway. Our opponent has proven that they are more than willing to run into a Settler Wreckage. We can actually Field of Ruin a Forest as well. Right? Oh, it's non-basic. Never mind. Hexproof on the Lotus Field means we can't Field of Ruin that, by the way. Ixalan's Binding. What does that do for me? Anything? Means I can't play Lyra and I'm dead on board, right? So I just kind of have to go with the Lyra. I don't even know if this means that I'm alive or not. Could take care of Nissa, shutting off their excess mana. Or I could take care of Kiora, which stops them from playing multiple things per turn. Vivian kind of doing the same thing as well. I mean, all three you can make a good argument for murdering. I mean, I think it just has to be the Nissa. The Vivian ticks up, gets a land, and then Nissa turns it into a 3/3 to attack with. I'm going to gain 6 here and take care of Nissa. I'm honestly not sure. I think it's a really awful position to find ourselves in, no matter where you shake it up, so... Is this any permanent, by the way? Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell. Okay. So we can Binding the Vivian Reed to stop her from minusing 3 on one of my flyers, I guess. So Vivian ticks up, gets a Command Tower to make the land drop for the turn. The final card in their hand. Well, if we were to assume that it was the pump spell we were guessing it might be, which at this stage it's looking like that was actually just bait and I took it. Then we'd have to block carefully, but I don't think we can afford to block carefully. Ixalan's Binding has to be used on a Planeswalker. Just take 8. I need something better than Ixalan's Binding. That's what this comes down to. It's Vigilant, my friend. You can attack all you want with it. The only reason you won't want to do that is if you're assuming that my Lyra block matters. Maybe they're just doing the math here. So everything, I think it's 4 power or greater gets +1/+1. And trample, yep. I have First Strike, so I can block profitably on the Shifting Ceratops or the Gore Claw if I want to stop that effect from happening every time. So if I was to block here, I would go up to 20. I'm taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Ugh. I might just block the Shifting Ceratops anyway. Honestly, don't know. I think we're just dead no matter what, because, I mean, we go to -8. It's not going to be enough just blocking Gargos there. Yeah. It was lethal no matter how we blocked, I'm pretty sure. Which is a shame. Yeah, we were just kind of getting next leveled, I think, throughout that entire thing. If we'd have survived another turn, Ixalan's Binding wouldn't have cut it. If we'd have found Settle the Wreckage at any point, we probably win. We have the 7-mana Angel that's also a Settle the Wreckage as well. Yeah, I think there are top decks that win us the game there. But our opponent found plenty that won them the game. Lotus Field's the best land they could find. Nissa, best ramp spell in the format, let's be honest. And Vivian. Well, the Vivian, it's a weird one, because I think the Vivian, if I'd have taken the block with Lyra on the 5/5, which I think was, as it turns out, a bluff, I would have had 5 more extra life there, and still wouldn't have been enough, really, but I don't know. Maybe it could have changed things. They would have had a less land, because I can't remember what I blocked during that turn, actually. Honestly, I think I didn't block anything at all. I think I just took the 5. So yeah, there would have been 1 land down. It could have changed things. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed anyway. It's been a pretty interesting match. I don't think that Lyra's actually a good commander. I think it's mediocre at best. But it's been fun piling in nonetheless. So hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.